Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name's Elisa and here I create bujo content and all things bullet journaling. In this video I'm going to be setting up my February 2022 spreads and I'm super excited. This is actually the first time that I'll be incorporating watercolor and I was really excited and intrigued to see how it would work, especially on this type of paper in my journal, being it's not a very expensive journal. In fact, it's one of the most cost-efficient ones that you will find. Pretty much got it at my local Walmart. So I was really curious to see how well it would hold up. And I was actually pretty surprised. There really wasn't a ton of crinkling in the paper, and I was quite impressed. And with that being said, let's just get right ahead into the video. As you can see, I decided to go with a rose theme, and here is just the beginning cover page of my February spreads. I actually didn't make a January cover page, and I really wish I did. So I thought to get creative here, and I just had some craft paper that I got at the Dollar Tree. I just cut a smaller spot of it off and then ripped around to make it look a little bit more vintagey. And I used the watercolor on there, and I finally got some fine liners because I have no idea where my other ones went. And I realized I did not take enough time in letting the watercolor dry on craft paper and it ended up bleeding through, but oh well, at least it didn't bleed through on the other page. I thought it was really cute. I love the blue accent, to be completely honest, and you'll see how well it looks in my other spreads as well. So this next spread that I'm setting up is going to be a month at a glance kind of spread. I'll just have pretty much my main goals here on the side, as well as where I'll keep track of my net worth. And then over here on the right, I will create the month. And for whatever reason, I don't have very good luck with setting up my calendar boxes, and I always end up creating more than I need. As you can see, I added a good, I think, 3 or 4 extra boxes that I didn't need, and I ended up going in and covering them with more craft paper. I figured for the bottom I would just add the important dates because there's not a ton of room to write in the boxes compared to my January spread where I had plenty of room. I made it much more smaller and sort of minimalist. I like how it looks. I wish I can just for the life of me get the boxes correct. It didn't turn out too bad, especially with the craft paper. It really ties it in with that cover page. And as you can see, I finally got a craft knife and I was highly impressed with these. I got it for $1 at the Dollar Tree and I had 6 other blades that came with it and it worked amazing. It cut right through. In fact, it cut a little bit onto the craft paper, so I realized I was using too much pressure. I didn't think it'd work that well, but it worked perfectly. You can see on the border, I just kept doing these little rose doodles with the watercolor and then going over with a fine liner and making a circle, and then I used the blue for the petals on the side. I thought it was super cute. Here you can now see me writing the title of February over some more watercolor, and I should have let it dry a little bit more because my brush pen leaked a little bit through the watercolor. This is my first time using watercolor, like I said, so I was learning a lot of different tricks. I realized that it bled through if I didn't wait long enough for it to dry. The next thing that you'll see here is I will write a small little quote that says there's never a better time than now, tying in with my whole 2022 theme of just staying motivated and starting and trying out different things and stop using the excuse of, oh well, right now I can't, because at the end of the day I definitely can. That's all I pretty much did for my February month at a glance. Kept it pretty simple and I think it looks really cute and artsy. This next spread that I'm setting up is my February habit tracker, and to be completely honest, I love how this turns out in the end, and I used a lot more habits to keep track of this next month because January was really my first time having a whole page set up for it, and I realized that there's a lot more things that I wanted to keep track of than the like 5 things that I did. So I created 2 whole pages where I really filled it up. And before I had created boxes and I wrote the numbers in. This time I'm just going to be circling over the numbers of the dates with a different color or the same color, it really doesn't matter, but that's how I'll keep track. And I divvied it up completely. Before, I used the same calendar box for brushing my teeth in the morning and the night, and it just started to look really messy towards the end and kind of hard to see, I guess, really what was happening. So I made specific ones for each of them, and I think it'll help keep track a lot better than what I was doing before. And I added a few more things that I thought were pretty important to me, especially the car wash one, because up here in the Midwest right now, there is salt all over the place, and we finally got our first car wash, which took longer than it should have, but I figured it was a good thing to keep track of. And this spread, I'm pretty much just calling it my YouTube spread. I used it so much last month and I still am using it, so I was really excited to create this one. I kept it really simple again because I need all of the page spaces that I can. It's pretty much where I keep anything related to my YouTube channel / Instagram, all the materials that I get, new materials I want to get, different video ideas I want to do, all sorts of stuff like that. And you see I finally found a name for my other channel that I'll be starting, but I haven't quite finished the video for that. It's knitting based, so it obviously takes a little bit longer than journaling does, but I'm super excited for when that will come. And I kept it super simple with just adding some roses with the watercolor in the corners, and I really love how it looked, and it's very functional with all of the space that I can have access to. I also wanted to add that if you like this video and this content, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, and I will be producing more videos in the future here of all things related to bullet journaling, and it would mean the world to me if you left me a comment telling me what your favorite spread was and what things you will possibly be tracking in your bullet journals this year. I can't wait to hear all the fun and exciting things that everyone will be up to in 2022. I am setting up my weekly spreads where I can be able to see the day and the date and whatever goals and tasks I have. As you can see, I used a mini Dutch door system, which I think was really cute, and instead of using the pink on the tabs like I did for my February setup, I used the blue that I was accenting with the leaves. And that's something that I really liked. My watercolor set that I got had so many different shades, so I was really excited about that. I used some washi tape to get really straight fine lines with my mild liner and went over with fine liner for the day and the date. And I used some extra washi tape as well to get a really crisp border with the watercolor where I put the roses. And I thought it looked really well. I love how clean and crisp it came up. I also took some scrap paper to write February on like I had with my habit spread, and I think it looks a lot better than if I were to have just filled in the words February that I had traced there. On the side, I was able to also use scrap paper to create another mini calendar just to see the whole month spread out again. I also had enough room in the corner to write a little quote that said, "It's never too late to start," to really just tie in again with the 2022 theme I have going of just staying motivated, starting things that I want to start, not using excuses, because at the end of the day, I'm holding myself back rather than something else. I love how it turned out. There was enough space for me to be able to write anything I used. In my previous January weekly spreads, I had a small spot for notes, but I was pretty much just regurgitating the stuff I was writing within the days. It made more sense to add a tasks and goals spot instead of a notes box. I really love how this one turned out. It's very artsy, and I think it fits very well with the month of February. What do you guys think? And this is my last spread of February, and it is where I pretty much just write out my strengths, weaknesses, and what I like to call halfway theirs. They're the in-betweens, things that I don't consider a strength but don't consider a weakness as well. On the bottom, I have my favorites. For January, I actually used both pages here with the recap on the right and favorites on the left, but I just figured it was too much space for the amount of things that I actually want to put. I really liked the idea of having a clean, crisp page for when I create my March spread, rather than having to use craft paper again to cover up kind of the lines from the month before. Not that I didn't like how the craft paper looked, but that way I'm not limited when I create my next spread. I just added some cute little roses in the corners, and that pretty much tied it all together for me. Final flip through of all of the spreads I created for February. I love how it turned out, especially compared to the January spreads. I love the roses and the pinks, and I think February is such an in-between month where I'm super excited for spring, but I also just love how many colors come alive in February, especially with Valentine's. I really love how it looked. I will also leave a link to most of the materials that I used, but I will definitely put them in the description below if you are curious. Please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel if you like future videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your 2022.